morning. This is Brian. Welcome back to the ranch. So this morning I went to go hunting again. It's the very beginning of rifle season. Of course, I was extremely unsuccessful in harvesting a deer during bow season. Story continues with rifle season. A deer came by this morning about 7 o'clock. It was still too dark to shoot her, and I spooked her. I do that every season. Every season, the first deer I see, somehow I move and spook the deer. So anyways, that was a bummer. But today, I'm gonna go ahead and get my cover crop planted. It's probably several weeks overdue. I'll show you the blend that I'm gonna use, exactly what I'm gonna plant, why I'm gonna plant it, and kind of the benefits that you have from cover crops. There's a documentary that I just recently saw. It's called Living Soil. I'll link it somewhere up here. It's worth watching. It's about an hour-long documentary just talking about the benefits of cover crops, particularly cover crops in the wintertime to help rejuvenate the soil, to help add nitrogen to the soil, all doing that naturally. The property owner before me, put down, chemical fertilizer every year. He used to get a couple of cuttings of hay, and then the next year he'd do the same thing. So the soil really has no vitality to it. It has no microbes in the soil, very little organic matter, and I want to change that. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen overnight. This is going to probably be a several-year process. But in my opinion, it starts with cover crops. So that's what we're going to plant today. And hopefully I'm not too late in the season to get a little bit of growth before it really freezes around here. And then, of course, they'll take off in the spring. This is the seed that I'm gonna use. I got this from a company called Green Cover, and this is their Cool Season Soil Builder. And you can see it has a bunch of different species that are supposed to do well during, obviously, the cold winter season. These varieties of plants are probably going to stay dormant in the soil during the winter time, but in the summer, or actually in the early spring, these should come up before my summer grasses come up and give my cows a lot of forage and fix a lot of nitrogen into the soil. So there's a couple of ways that I can get this seed out onto my pasture. One would be a no-till seed drill. Ideally, that would probably be the best way to do it, but since I don't have one, it's not an option. The next option is just to broadcast spread it. And if you do that, you have to use about 3 times the amount of seed that you would use if you did a no-till drill. The other option is you can disc the soil and then broadcast the seed, and then come back with either a rake or a chain harrow or something and smooth off the soil, and that'll give you good seed to soil contact without having to make the large investment in a drill. That's the method that I'm gonna do. I have a tractor, I have a disc, and I have a chain harrow. So it's the second best option next to doing a no-till drill. So I'm gonna go ahead and chain harrow initially my pastures to spread the manure around and get the pastures basically fertilized with the manure that the cows have been putting on there since spring. And then I'm gonna go back over it with a disc in the areas that I want to plant my cover crop. And then I'll broadcast with just a regular broadcast spreader that you would use on a residential lawn, because once again, that's what I have, so that's what I'm gonna use. And then come back with the chain harrow turned over, and I'll show you that in a little bit, so that it's not aggressively cutting into the soil and it's just smoothing it out. And that'll give me really good seed to soil contact, get the seed a little deeper into the soil than just broadcasting it. And then hopefully we'll get germination here in a couple of weeks. Before I use my chain harrow, I like to make sure I tighten all the bolts. This can come apart pretty easily if everything's not all tightened up, because it takes quite a beating dragging it across the hay fields.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chain harrow the pastures that I want to plant the cover crop. And the reason is because I want the manure to be spread out and those clods of manure broken up. This chain harrow has some teeth on it, and if you have the teeth down, it'll be really aggressive in turning up the soil a little bit and tearing up the clods. You can see these teeth are whoop, there it is. You can see these teeth are facing down, and so like I said, when I'm doing manure spreading, I want it to be aggressive so that it breaks up those clods of manure. So before I chain harrow this field that the cows were on, not this week, but last week, the reason that I chain harrow my entire fields is for this reason. If you look at this hay field, you'll notice that there's clumps of grass that the cows never ate. Right here, they grazed all of this right here. And then you come over here and you're like, well, why didn't they eat any of this? It's tall, it's green, it's lush. And it's because of this. Everywhere where there's tall grass, there's cow patties. Cows will not eat grass if there's a big cow patty sitting there. You can see the grass is green right here. There's a cow patty right there, an old dried up one. So the chain harrow does a couple of things. It knocks down these molehills. Oh, that's not a molehill, those are cow patties. I mean, those are still pretty fresh from a week ago. It spreads it out on the hay fields as fertilizer. It also knocks down molehills, knocks down ant hills. And the other thing that it does is it kills any grasshopper larvae that's in the soil before they hatch next spring. So I have less grasshoppers as well when I chain harrow. So big clumps of grass, the cows never touched because they're not going to eat food in their own crap. And I don't blame them. Okay, so I wanted to move the discs on this so that they're cutting the least aggressive. I want them to just not tear up the earth, but just make nice rows for the seed to go into. And then once we get the seed in, we'll just cover it up.
Like an idiot, I forgot to hit play when I disked the hayfield, so I'm just showing you some old footage from a previous video of me using my disc.
What are you doing in here? I left the gate open, didn't I? Can you go back out? Can you go back out, Loretta? Go back out. Come on. No, 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 no. There you go. Good girl. Good girl. Go back out. Go back out. That's what I get for leaving the gate open. Got to get them in a new paddock tonight anyway, if I ever get this done. On it? Huh? We'll have to look and see what you did. Hey Loretta, you're being a stinker today. You know that?
Now that I got my seed broadcast, I need to go back over with the chain harrow, this time with the teeth up, so that it doesn't aggressively cut into the ground. And what it'll do is it'll just cover up the seed and fill in those grooves that the disc made.
All right, again, you can see how good the chain harrow kind of smoothed off everything. This is where I haven't gone yet. So that's the difference. Seeds are covered, seeds are still exposed. Well, that's all that I've got for you guys today. It was a pretty busy day. I was up at 4 a.m. and finally finished up here at about 6 p.m. So I'm tired. But got my cover crop planted, at least about 2 acres of it, and we'll see how it comes up. And thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.